Hello, this is the second video in a series that will show you how to use your student information to create shared folders using the gclassfolders tool. Now, if you've already collected your student information like I have using your form, you're ready to now use the gclassfolders tool to create your shared folders. So you can see here I have a short, but I'm going to say complete list of students in my classes. Your student list should probably look a lot more complete than this. I would suggest before you start to use the gclassfolders tool that you look over all of your student information, make sure that your students are there, make sure that your classes are there, and your periods. For instance, make sure that John Smith is really in my biology class in my period 1. Occasionally students can click on the wrong period and then all of a sudden they're going to wind up in the wrong period in your shared folders. So double check this information. If it all checks out okay, then you're good to go to gclassfolders. Okay? If this is all scrambled up and it's not in order like this, you can sort it by period or by class or whatever else you want to sort it by clicking on these arrows at the top of the column. In this case, I could say I want it to sort from Z to A, for instance, and it'll start with period 4 and go down to period 1. If I wanted it from period 1 to period 4, I click A to Z and it will sort it again. Okay? So now that I know my information is good, my next step is I need to create a new spreadsheet. So I'm going to click the Create button in my Google Drive, and I'm going to click Spreadsheet. Now I'm going to call this spreadsheet my Gclass spreadsheet. So where it says Untitled Spreadsheet, I'm going to click here, I'm going to type in Gclass, and I'm going to call it Gclass 2013 because this is my information for this year. It now has a title, and this is the title that it will show up as within my Google Drive. But it's a blank spreadsheet. Okay, it's not going to help us yet. So the next step is we need to actually add the gclassfolders tool to this spreadsheet. To do that, we click on Tools, we click on Script Gallery, and we're going to search for gclassfolders. So in the search box, I type gclassfolders, search. I get 2 gclassfolders listed. I want the current one, so that's the one that was updated on September 9th, 2013. I'm going to click Install. Now, it's going to ask for approval. So it says it's installed, however, it's going to say authorization required. I want this, it's going to work, it's going to help me out a lot, so I'm going to click Continue. It tells me everything it's going to do. Pretty long list, might be a little scary, but again, this is a great tool, this is what we want. We're going to accept it, we're going to give it power. Okay? We move on. It now says it's installed, so I can close this window. And you can see that I now have a gclassfolders tab along my toolbar at the top. So I click on gclassfolders. If I want to know more about gclassfolders, I can click on this. But really what I want to do right now is I want to install my initial settings. So I click on initial settings. It will tell you it's running the script. And I get this whole option box here. Now I want it in English. The next options that I have available for my ability to change is I can rename the folders. So these are the folders that it's going to create. The assignment folder is where basically a student is going to put their information. So for a student, both in your window or your folders as well as their folders, this will show up as the assignment folder. If you want it called something else, like your work folder or your student work or something like that, you can rename it here. You can't rename it later, so if you want to rename it here. These assignment folders will be organized in larger folders called the assignment folders for each class. So my biology period 1 will have a biology period 1 assignment folders folder, and then within that I'll have the individual student assignment folders. Again, if you want to rename this as student work, you can do that. If you want to rename it, you do that now. Class is going to be your class folder for something like biology or chemistry or English or US history. Class is going to be the bigger folder that contains those class folders, and then we also can have period folders. So if you want to change these, that's fine, but you're probably pretty good the way they are. It's all personal preference. The biggest thing on this page is you need to make sure that you're in single teacher mode. Do not select the school mode. That's for someone who wants to set up the entire school at once. You're just setting up your information. You're a single teacher. From there, click Save, and it will install itself. Notice it now has created a second sheet on my spreadsheet. So if you look along the bottom left here, sheet 1 is still blank, and then sheet 2 is now the Gclass roster sheet, and it's added some headers here. don't change these headers. And in fact, it'll tell you, don't change the name of these headers. Don't ever change those. It needs those there in order to do its magic. Okay. Now, if you notice, the information it's asking for is in the same order that we used when we created our questions in our Google form. That was with purpose. Okay. So I can go back to my student form now. I can select all of my student information. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to select all of it like so. And then I can either right click and select copy, or if I want to use my keyboard, I can hit Control C on a PC or Command C on a Mac. So I copy it. I go back to my Gclass folders, select the first blank cell or box, and then I need to paste. So again, right click, click paste, or if you're on a PC, you can hit Control V, or on a Mac, you can hit Command V. Paste that in, and it will paste all of my information in. You don't need this teacher's emails column filled in. Okay. At this point, all you need to do is have this information filled in. Again, make sure you've kind of sorted through it to make sure it's all legit. Okay, students are in the right periods and all that. And now we're ready. We're ready for the magic. It's real easy. Here's all we have to do. Once our information is pasted in, we go up to our toolbar again. Notice now that it's installed, we have some other options here. This will sort by class, period, and last name, so it'll kind of sort the information on this spreadsheet. Again, we don't really care that much about that. What we want to do is we want to create new folders and shares. So we click on that. It will say it's running. You'll see kind of the spreadsheet start to change. Notice on the right hand side it's added some new columns. Just let it run, let it do its magic. When it's all done, another window is going to pop up. Okay, notice it still says running script. Okay, when it's all done, this window pops up. It says app script. Class folders were created for biology, biology period 1, biology period 2, biology period 3, conceptual chemistry period 4. So there are all my folders for the 4 periods that I teach. It also created 5 new assignment folders. The only reason why it created only 5 new assignment folders is because I only had 5 students on my list. So it created a new assignment folder for each student. If I had 130 students, it would have created 130 new assignment folders. I click OK. When I come to this page, our Gclass folders tab, same information is there. It added in the teacher emails. So again, I said leave it blank because it will fill in that information. And then notice as we go across, okay, it's filled in all this other information. You don't need to mess with any of this. Okay, you can leave all of this alone. It's all good to go. Okay, nothing you need to mess with. You are basically done at this point. Okay, same goes for this properties tab. You don't need to change anything here. This is part of the magic. Leave it alone. Okay, if you want to see that things have worked, you can leave this folder alone, go back to your Google Drive, and then look for the folder. I have a lot of folders here, but if you go to this biology folder here, this is the new folder they created. Notice within this biology folder, I have assignment folders. Within the assignment folders, I have assignment folders for each period. And if I go into period 1, notice it's created an assignment folder for each student in my period 1. If they put a document in this folder, it will automatically be shared between me and the student. Everything within this folder has full edit rights, meaning that if they put it in there, they can edit it, I can edit it, so it's a great way for us to be able to share comments and make adjustments back and forth within those assignment folders. It also created, outside the assignment folders, a biology edit folder. The biology edit folder again has full share rights, but with the whole class. So that all my biology students have access to this folder. They can edit anything in this folder, and I can edit anything in this folder. This would be a great way to crowdsource some information, do some group research, that sort of thing. The biology teacher folder, I don't really need to mess with at this point. There are some other tools that we can use in addition to Gclass folders that will take advantage of this folder, but for right now it's just kind of extra. You won't really need it. I wouldn't delete it, but you don't really need to use it either. The final folder that it created is called your view folder. Anything you put in this folder, all your students in this particular class will have access to it. So all my biology students will be able to see anything that's in this folder, but it will be as view only, meaning they will not be able to edit it. Now that's an advantage because They won't be able to modify any of my files, but they do have the ability to copy those files. And if they copy it, they can then edit their copy. That means if I have a prompt or a template that I want to give out to students, I can put that in this folder. They won't modify my original, so they can all access it without it being modified. And then once they copy it, they can then work from it and do their edits. Okay? There will be a future video that will kind of walk us through some more steps, but as of right now, you should have your student information collected, and now with video 2, you now have shared folders set up with all of your students, and you're ready to go.